How's it going, everyone? Welcome to episode 49 of the Mutant XPerience podcast. Tonight, I have a very special guest, um, someone that I have been meaning to have on the show for a very long time. We have none other, straight from Canada. We have Brett, aka Psychochronic, an FGC jack of all trades. Not only are you a 15-year veteran of the FGC, but you're also an avid photographer, cosplayer, and someone who has gained quite the reputation for someone who frequents a lot of the events in the FGC. I mean, obviously, with all the things going on in the world now, it's funny, Brett, because like when the pandemic first hit and I started thinking about like the FGC, you're like one of the first people I thought about.
Yeah.
Like I was like, what's Brett gonna do?
I know. What am I gonna do? I can't travel anymore. Oh God. Oh.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
And also, I would be remiss. I know we're gonna talk. We're gonna definitely talk about it later on in the show. But of course, Psychochronic, you are also the founder and operator of one of the largest archives of FGC footage, Psycho Rarity.
Yes, sir.
You could see the link there, youtube.com/psychorarity. Just go ahead and just type it in the chat. And so, obviously, we're going to talk a little bit about that channel, which was sort of huge just, from my personal development as a Third Strike player. I know that among Third Strike circles, the YouTube channel that everyone, sort of remembers or everyone kind of, knows about with regards to the Third Strike circles is the Shen. And shout outs to the Shen. I had the Shen on a podcast about a year ago.
I noticed.
But whenever I think about like Third Strike YouTube channels or Third Strike footage on YouTube, I always think about your channel, Brett.
Really?
Maybe it's because I'm old school as well. But I always think about the Shen and Psycho Rarity. Because Psycho Rarity, unlike the Shen, obviously the Shen is focused more on Third Strike. There's a little bit of really early Second Impact Japanese footage on the Shen's channel, but for the most part it's Third Strike. But Brett, your channel is all FGC. There's so much content on your YouTube channel. I just can't even. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, I know we're going to talk more about the channel later in the podcast, but it's just maybe it's because we're getting old, Brett, or maybe it's because I'm just getting old. But
we all are.
But it's a great pleasure to see a lot of that early FGC footage, particularly the really early Third Strike footage. And so we're definitely going to talk more about that on the show. But, before we get underway with the show, Brett, I mean, how are you, man? I know you are obviously from Canada. You're from the Toronto area, a suburb right outside of Toronto. What was the name of the suburb again that you're?
Mississauga.
And so
I have to put that out because someone's going to say, oh, he's not really from Toronto. I say the Toronto area. I'm really from Mississauga. Which is just like the rival city, if you want to say it. So yeah, I come from like just the city out west. If you want to just, that's all.
So were you born and raised in Canada?
Born in Toronto and then raised in Mississauga since 1987.
Oh, okay.
Since awesome. 1987. And if you were to count a 2.5-year stint in Windsor, Ontario, just to finish high school. Okay, there you go. So I've been living in Mississauga all my life, if you think about it. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's start at the beginning, Brett, because even though I think, and I've mentioned this before in previous podcasts, but despite having played Third Strike basically since it started, I was never really someone to frequent the modern tournament scene. If you know what I mean, right? I come from the arcade scene, like you do, and because I never really, played any of the modern games, starting with Street Fighter 4, I never really started going to FGC events until maybe like, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. I mean, I've been to FGC events, of course, but like in terms of, really going, because first with This Is Third Strike, we started running Third Strike tournaments primarily, at Big E tournaments. Shout outs to Big E first and foremost. Shout outs to Eric. Shout outs to Big E.
Shout outs to Eric.
And that's kind of where you and I kind of met, right? Like a lot of the Big E tournaments, because you were you were someone who went to a lot of Big E tournaments.
Oh, a lot. I went to a lot of Big E tournaments.
Mm-hmm. And so I never really started going to events until about 5 years ago. And one of the things I quickly, I mean, I'm, again, like I said, I go to an event here and there. I've been to a couple, a lot of the early Evos.
That still counts.
But in terms of traveling, right? Like in terms of like actually going out of state or traveling to, other places far away that require some sort of, whether it's a bus or a train or a plane.
Well, I'm a foreigner. I'm different because I'm a foreigner. Yeah. I'm different. Mm-hmm. So you went to all those Evos. Technically, you've been traveling to events for like 15 plus years.
Well, again, that's not really fair because I grew up mostly in Southern California, so that still I didn't really have.
Still counts.
Yeah,
that still counts. That still counts.
I mean, I never really had to travel for Evo until they moved it to Vegas.
Doesn't matter.
Yep. But yeah, like so I'm relatively like new as far as kind of going to different events. Obviously, when we started the Jazzy circuit, I definitely wanted to be on the ground and sort of just help out wherever I could. And that's when I really started noticing that, hey man, like Brett goes to a lot of these events. like he's always like whether it's in the East Coast or the Midwest. I don't know if you ever go as far out as the West Coast for events, though.
West Coast. I'm glad you said. I'm glad you said that. In terms of West Coast, I've been to a Calgary Canada Cup and 2 Evos. That's all. Okay. I've never touched SoCal regionals, NorCal regionals, Northwest majors. Undefeated. I've never been to those. So
yeah.
Just to clarify that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So like one of the things I started noticing was like, wow, I keep seeing Brett a lot, and we and over time we would hang out and we would relax if you know what I mean.
Yeah, go.
You know what I mean? And so, but we never really talked, man. I think it's because either we were so busy, because like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, you're someone who does it all, man. You're a photographer, you're a cosplayer, you're a competitor in multiple games. You're also, obviously you run the Psycho Rarity. I don't know if you've ever TO'd before. I don't know if you ever had.
I've never. Stuff. Okay, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad I've never been a TO before, and running basement tournaments or round robins in your basement doesn't count. Yeah. But I've at least ran brackets in any level of tournament, be it locals or home majors. I've run brackets. Yeah. So I've run brackets in a very like kind of a different type of way, but like at the same time, it was the times. Whoever at the time was like the mid to top players were also the guys who also did the seating and the brackets and brought the equipment and stuff. So
yeah, that's how it kind of was back in the day, right?
Yeah,
like you kind of had to do everything.
Yeah. So I'm not a TO. I've never like hosted a whole event. I've never had where I'm responsible of everyone. No, I've never. Nope. And I'm glad you said that because people's run brackets. Yo, I'm a TO now. Look at that on Twitter. Yo, I just saw this guy run brackets at said event. Now he's saying he's a TO. What the hell?
Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, that distinction didn't really emerge until like around the Street Fighter 4 era, right?
Yes,
because like you said, right, back in the day, like everyone did everything. It wasn't, you couldn't really specialize in one thing. But before we get to that, man, kind of the point I was trying to make is that we've gone, we've hung out so much the past 5 years, but we've never really taken the time to kind of sit down and talk. And one of the things I realized as we were talking about doing this show is that we have a lot in common, actually.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
I mean, so first of all, we're both Filipino.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm half Filipino, but I'm culturally Filipino. I was born in the Philippines, came here when I was 4. you're Filipino, but you were born and raised in the Toronto area, and
Yeah.
so Filipinos, man, Filipinos in the FGC in particular. Um, I don't really maybe I just don't go to enough events, but like, who are some of the Filipino players that kind of stand out? Are there any that
Uh,
you kind of not really, right?
not
Like,
really, not really, not really.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Have you
I've talked with
ever
F Champ. I've talked with
mhm,
F Champ a few times, if that
yeah.
counts. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all.
Mhm.
Not really.
Have you ever been back to the Philippines? Or I mean, have you ever gone to
Not.
the Philippines?
I've been there when I was 3, so I have no
Mhm.
recollection. So that technically doesn't count to me because I have no recollection of
Mhm.
my Philippines visit in 1980, like whatever.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
you're kind of in the same boat as I am. I
Yes.
moved to the Philippines when I was 4, and I never went back.
Yeah.
I hardly remember any of my life in the Philippines. I think I might have went to preschool, maybe. But tell me about the Filipino community in Toronto, man. Like how are they?
Don't know
Like, is
anything.
there
I
is
don't
there a
know anything.
is there a Filipino community? Is there
I
you
I
know?
think so, but I don't know
Uh-huh,
shit. I don't like.
uh-huh.
I'm the most whitewashed person you can
Are
ever
you the
meet
most
in your
whitewashed
life.
Filipino?
Yep. I'm
I always tell
sorry.
that to people too. I'm pretty. I think I'm
I
pretty
pretty
whitewashed
much
too.
am. Like
The
I
only
was
thing
like
that's I'm not
bullied. I was
whitewashed.
bullied
Yeah.
a lot. I
Hmm.
was bullied a lot for not being a real Filipino. So like,
Really,
come on.
that's weird.
Yeah. I was
Um,
bullied a lot for not being a real Filipino. I was a cultural disgrace. I'm racially confused. Like, come on, dude.
yeah.
If you, I like ice hockey. Oh, you don't like basketball, you know.
Well, to be fair, you're Canadian,
Yeah, I know, but
right? So,
still,
but I
you're not
understand
dating a
basketball and Filipinos. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what they do. That's what
yeah,
they do. But
yeah.
Filipino food. Is there good Filipino food
Yeah.
out there?
Yeah. I just like it homemade. I just like it homemade.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
all.
do you make it yourself? Do you cook?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just checking. Just checking. Because if you cook, then wow, you really are
No.
a renaissance man. In terms
No,
of
I'm
the
not. Nope.
FGC.
No, I'm not.
So let's start at the beginning, man. Like how did you get
Okay.
into video games? Like how did
How,
that kind of come about for you?
okay, so me and my brother, we grew up and we were one of the first people to have the NES system.
Hmm.
And so whatever, we played whatever, and then I always had a distinction with fighting games for some reason. And it goes all the way back to I would say a camping trip, one of those Filipino family camping trips. So we went to Kitchener, Ontario to a camping ground called Bingman's, and they had a World Warrior machine. It was like in some type of like it was like in a dome. You know those inflatable domes that you use for like winter golf or winter tennis? Think of those domes, but like inside this dome was like all these arcade machines, hot dogs, whatever snacks, like a '90s arcade. And my one, you have your first cousins and your second cousin. My second cousin super played the World Warrior. He super played it, meaning he wanted to beat the game with only one credit, and he did that. And there was like 20 people like going around him. Yo, he beat the final boss. He beat the. It's like he won the championship. He didn't play any human opponent. He just wanted to just beat the final boss, and that's what I remembered. And
Hmm.
Me and my brother would always play World Warrior. That was the second game we got on top of Mario World for SNES.
Hmm.
And that's my childhood. That's how I started playing video games. But in terms of the arcade, we grew up near a shopping mall which had a ton of machines. It started in 1990. It's called Wizard's Castle. It's in the northwestern part of my city in Meadowville Town Center. And that arcade, me and my brother would go there at least once every 2 weeks. And the challenge was like with so little money we have, how long can we last on the machines by beating people? You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
then that arcade got shut down by 1996. But we didn't have the PlayStation. We had the Saturn because we
Hmm.
liked Street Fighter. Then eventually we got the Nintendo 64,
Hmm.
and then the Sega Dreamcast because PS2 was like 489, Dreamcast was like 249. You can run burn games.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
video games, like I played every genre. Like I'll play Mario Kart, I'll play NHL, I'll play Resident Evil. That's fine. But like there's always a certain distinction with fighting games because it takes two to tango.
Hmm.
You don't want to play the computer all the time. You might as well have a human opponent, and that's what I miss about like playing in the arcades. But when I was a kid,
Hmm.
with so little money you have, how long can you last in the games you can play?
So speaking of arcades, Brett,
Hmm.
growing up in America, I don't really know a whole lot about what the arcade scene was like in Canada, and more specifically in the
Yeah.
Toronto area. So I
Oh,
mean,
it's same with me. Same with me.
I'm just gonna ask some super basic questions. When you talked about how you went on a camping trip and you saw a World Warrior cab, what
That
kind
was
of cab was
1990.
it? Yeah, what kind of cab was it?
It had to
Like,
be
what
a
was it? Like
dynamo. If
a
anything, it was
dynamo?
a dynamo. It had to be a
Okay,
dynamo
so
because
that
I
means you
used to.
had.
Yeah,
So that means
because
it
I
was.
used to own a dynamo.
So it was basically
I
candy caps up there.
It wasn't a candy cab Japanese cabinet. It's an American hap. You know
Oh,
haps
okay.
back in the day.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We didn't.
Okay.
This is 1990. I just explained
Oh,
that part from
Dynamo. That's right.
1990.
Yeah, that's right.
Dynamo.
Dynamo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because as I said, I used to own a dynamo cut corner
Mm-hmm.
cabinet. So it was like one of those tall, big black cabinets that looked like a piece of the of a kitchen just got like drilled into it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not really too familiar with the. It sounds vaguely familiar.
yeah.
So you had, because I don't want to call them American cabs, right? Because,
Yep, I had
because,
Yep, I had an American cabinet at one point. At one point.
but
Mhm.
you had mentioned that you live next to a mall and that you would go to that
Yeah,
arcade with.
nearby.
Mhm.
Yeah, we lived
So
nearby a mall.
what kind of cabs did they have there? Was it just
They were
all
all
hat parts?
they were they were all haps. No matter what, they
Okay.
were all haps.
Okay.
All the way up to 1996 when that arcade closed. Everything I've played on was on haps.
Hmm.
And then we migrated to another arcade because of a movie theater nearby, which is like steps nearby, and I'd
Hmm.
still be playing games.
Hmm. What was the
And
name of that other arcade?
that arcade was called the Game Skybox. There were two
Hmm.
versions of it. The first version was it was next to a movie theater in Erin Mills Town Center, and now it's a Sport Check. But it was like an airport hangar type thing.
Hmm.
It was one of the first to have a 7-foot projector screen. So it was the only $1 cabinet there because it's like you're playing the newest game on the projector screen, be it Second Tag 1 or Alpha 3, or Marvel 1.
Hmm.
And then the second version, it got moved to parking area B of that mall, which is now at Tim Hortons. And they had CVS 1, CVS 2, Virtua Tennis, Marvel 1, Marvel 2. And then that's 2001. And then I moved out, didn't touch an arcade machine for like 3 years, and then I moved back here.
Hmm.
And the first thing I did was, I just want to get good in Street Fighter. And what I walked out of those final exams was 2 games and an Xbox Live card. And one of those 2 games was Capcom vs. SNK2 EO.
Hmm.
So to kind of, I don't mean to super fast track. So if my origins entering fighting games and entering the FGC is I started off as an online warrior with arcade roots.
Hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? And then I eventually branched into the fighting game scene roughly 9 months later. Just
Hmm.
just to put that out there. Just to put that out
Hmm. Yeah.
there. Right.
So you didn't really enter the FGC, or you didn't really start competing
No.
like that until 2005. But
Yeah.
when did you first learn that there was an FGC? Like
I'd say
when did you start becoming aware that, hey, there's actually
sure.
a tournament scene or a FGC scene?
May 2004 to be exact. May 2004 to be exact.
Oh wow.
SureYouCan.com. SureYouCan.com. Online matchmaking and
Hmm.
you have your sub forums, fighting game discussion, general discussion. I was a main in the Xbox Live sub forum, so that's Capcom vs SNK2 EO,
Hmm.
Guilty Gear XX Reload, and then Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. Then you have
Wow.
your match. Then you have your regional matchmaking: Atlantic North, Atlantic South, Pacific North,
Hmm.
Pacific South. Atlantic North, which became Canada at the end, or worldwide at the end.
Hmm.
That's where you had to go to meet up with people and stuff. So
So why did you I mean, did you stop going to arcades? Because you had said that you
I
had
was
gone to
I was a broke
you were someone who had arcade roots, and then
yeah
you played online, and then you got into the
yeah.
FGC. But did you ever
Oh,
stop playing at the arcades, or did you keep
in a
playing?
way, yeah. In a way,
Mm-hmm.
because I just wanted to focus on high school.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to focus on high school. I was already doing bad in school, and like the reason why I bought that Xbox Live subscription is because like I needed to take time off school because I already graduated. I know I'm gonna eventually get a job, like
Mm-hmm.
even a part-time job. I might as well just play online. I'm a broke motherfucker. You gotta I'm a broke person. Put it like that.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
think people like nowadays, especially the current generation, like I think they don't quite understand like just like the level of excitement that players like our
Yeah.
age had when we first like when online became a reality, right? Like you said, right? You're someone who's coming from arcade roots, and all of a sudden now there
I
are
start
ways
off
to
as an
play these
online
games.
warrior,
Yeah, now
but
there's
but the
these
thing
ways to
is,
play online.
but the thing is I'm coming from Xbox, so you
Hmm.
got to understand that I'm not playing the arcade perfect versions of the games, and
Hmm.
online back then was not considered accepted.
Hmm.
you
Now,
you,
did
you know
you?
what I'm talking.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
No,
definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah, there you go.
Now, did you
Now,
play Third Strike on Xbox One?
yes, I
I mean,
did.
on the first
Yes,
Xbox.
I
I mean, not
did.
Xbox One, but
Yes,
the
I did.
original Xbox.
It's part of Anniversary Collection.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm gonna learn Hyper AE, I might as well learn Third Strike. It's two games in one disc. Why the fuck not? You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
there. It's there.
Actually, before we talk about Third Strike on Xbox, because there was actually, after kind of, delving, deeper into, kind of, the Third Strike history, particularly in this
Yeah.
country, it seems as though there was a sizable group of people that played Third Strike on the first Xbox. But before we get to that, when was do you? I always ask all my guests this, but do you remember like the first time you played Third Strike? Like the first time you
E-
played it?
ever like I
Ever.
Burn Disc 2001. I was living in
Oh, okay.
Tecumseh.
So
Just
you didn't
one of the
play it in the
Burn Disc.
arcade first. You didn't play it in the
No, I
arcade
did
first.
not. No,
Okay.
I did not. I had the Dreamcast, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any competition. I'm playing against the computer,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get all the endings and stuff just because.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I Third Strike really amazed me because of the soundtrack and the animation.
Yeah, talk to
That's
us a
what
little
really
bit
got
about
me.
that. Because like you said, you were first introduced to Third Strike in the Dreamcast version, and
Yeah, in the Dreamcast.
and again, I may have mentioned this in previous podcasts, but despite all of the flaws of the Dreamcast version, just the idea, and this is kind of what I was trying to get to earlier, like people don't. I don't know if the current generation of players understand just like how great it was, right? Coming from an arcade culture, having to always
Yeah.
put a quarter in order to play a game. Like I
Hmm.
even remember when I was a kid, and obviously the first port of Street Fighter 2 came out for the SNES, and
Yeah.
I bought it. I remember buying an SNES, or I remember asking my parents to buy me an SNES just for that game. And I
Yeah.
remember as a kid, what I would do is, I discovered Street Fighter in the arcades first as a kid, Street Fighter
Same.
2.
Hmm.
But then when the port came out, it was like, wow, like I can actually play at home, but it didn't make me not want to go to the arcade. If anything, the port made me want to go to the arcade more
Yeah,
because
really?
because
Okay.
because I was playing it on the port and I was able to kind of practice and for free, but it just made me excited and it made me want to go to the arcade more so I could play other people
Yeah.
because
Okay. Okay.
that
I
was
get it.
the
Okay. Yeah.
so that's really
You.
interesting.
you
So mhm. so like
yeah. Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say is it was like when ports of these fighting games came out, even as late as Third Strike like Dreamcast, yeah, of course it wasn't arcade perfect because I think one of the things that you might have noticed, Brett, in the Third Strike scene, we're very and maybe this is the same with the ST scene too, but we're very finicky when it comes
Yeah.
to
Oh.
ports. We're
Oh
very
yeah.
we're
Oh
very
yeah. You don't
particular.
think so? Oh, you don't think so? Oh yeah.
Yeah,
ST
and
scene. What?
yeah.
2011. You guys play on Super Guns. We got rid of that bastard HD remix. So the
Yeah.
rule is, yo, we play on this and it's 3 out of 5 now. and that's
Yeah.
the way it's been since
Yeah.
2011 for ST.
Yeah.
We don't touch HD remix.
Yeah. But just the fact that we could play these games at home, right?
Yeah.
And not have to go to like first of all, you got to drive to the arcade or get there somehow, right? Then you need money to play. Then you're
Ain't
gonna
no
eat.
11-year-old kid gonna take a bus. Ain't no
Yes.
11-year-old kid back in the day gonna take a bus, man.
Exactly.
Scared for your goddamn life. Get kidnapped and shit.
But think about what the Dreamcast, right? Like, what are some of your memories playing on the Dreamcast? Like, one of the things that stand out to me was just the idea of training mode, right? Like Third Strike training mode. I mean, how did you spend a lot of time in training mode?
Not really.
Not really. Yeah.
Not really. I just wanted to beat the game with every character, just because I was a lore fan of Street Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was a lore fan.
So you first discovered Third Strike, interestingly enough, through the port on Dreamcast.
Yeah, through the port,
and you had mentioned that what drew you to the game was its aesthetics. Can you talk a little bit more about about that, like in terms of the appeal of Third Strike? Because I really feel like Third Strike has this wider appeal than
it had that late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It had that late 90s / early 2000s in your face type of effect of Street Fighter. And in this Street Fighter, unlike previous versions like 2 or Alpha, you can actually dash, you can actually parry, you can actually tech throw, you can actually super cancel, all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's how I see it. That's how I see it.
So let's fast forward a little bit to the Xbox, right? Mm-hmm. The first Xbox. Right. I know I mistakenly said Xbox One, but the first Xbox, right? What a stupid name. When couldn't they call it something else? No, but anyway, Xbox, original Xbox. Do you wait? By the way, you had a Dreamcast and an Xbox, right?
So, yeah, but no PS2. But no PS2. Yeah. Later on, I would get a PS2.
Do you think the theory is true that the Xbox is basically the second Dreamcast? Is a Dreamcast 2?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's because I know that like most people kind of agree that was the plan, but there's never really been any kind of hard evidence to kind of back that claim up. But but like just kind of inferring, right? Like the architecture of both consoles.
Based on what I remember, it had to be a Dreamcast port. It had to.
Yeah, or at least the same design team, right?
It had the exact same matchmaking as CVS2 EO. So every match was a ranked match, whether you like it or not. And the entire ranking system was the exact same thing in CVS2 or Hyper AE or Capcom Fighting Jam. It was just like, let's just slap the net code in there. It's Third Strike. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And there was a glitch where if you used SA3 Yang in his stage, because of the rain droplets or something with desyncing, done.
Really?
Yep.
What happened? I have no idea about this.
Yeah.
What exactly happens?
I remember. If you activate SA3 with Yang on his stage in an online match, it would just disconnect.
That's how powerful Saiyan Embu on Xbox was.
so it's like Roletto knife in Cross Tekken in that patch where if you threw the knife and you got hit, it froze the game.
Were there any other glitches you remember, like kind of like that from the Xbox version?
I don't remember.
Yeah. So what were your experience? What was your experience like? Kind of like playing Third Strike online for the Xbox, like.
I found it to be a very difficult thing because it's like I've never like I'm playing. This is the time frame. So 2004. Where I'm learning whatever the new game is online. So my first is CVS2 EO, which is the improper version of CVS2, that ass backwards CVS2 that got patched and no one liked. Then Guilty Gear XX Reload. It's like you're trying to learn every game possible. And I found Third Strike to be very like execution and mix-up heavy. You know what I'm saying? In comparison to ST. And, like if I'm gonna just dash throw you, you can just tech that. I have a habit of doing 2 crouch forwards. You're gonna crouch parry it. I just found the game to be very hard in my sense. And it's just I'm learning games that are 4 to 5 years old at that point. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So, I also wanted to learn how to parry because that was like you're learning the game after the Daigo parry. It made you want to step your shit up. It made just like any other game.
Yeah, so you kind of started to, get a sense of what the FGC is around the time of the Daigo Parry. Like,
Yeah, I actually joined the FGC 6 months after the Daigo Parry, so January 2005.
mhm,
So to clarify, I was an online warrior. I played everything. I posted randomly on a Dead or Alive 2 whatever thread judging the
mhm,
netcode, and I get a private message. Hey, I heard you're from Mississauga and we don't have any players. We could sure use some players. And that's how I explored the FGC because, you know, lack of players in a scene. I kind of viewed it as desperation on both sides, where a scene needed players, and here you have me 1 year out of high school, kind of like little to no direction. And it's like I kind of need something to do
mhm,
at the time being. Why not explore fighting game community?
mhm.
Why not explore Toronto, Street Fighter, Capcom? You know what I'm talking? Yeah,
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that, man. Like
yeah.
how how would you describe your um I guess your entry into the FGC? You had said that the Daigo Parry that you had joined SRK 6 months after the Daigo Parry.
No,
Um,
technically I no,
or-
technically I entered SRK May 2004.
oh, okay.
May 2004. Yeah,
So you so you joined SRK before the Daigo Parry.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the 9 months leading up to that January meeting. I was an online warrior.
Hmm.
Anything that happens in Toronto, I don't exist before that time frame.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So tell us a little bit about kind of your entry into the FGC. Like you had said that you had that there were local players that were looking
yeah,
for
yeah,
like how did that come about? Was that
yeah.
through SRK or?
It was just a message,
Hmm.
I just posted randomly on a Dead or Alive 2 online, and it's
Hmm.
like, hey, how would you like to play this game offline? Like, I noticed you're a Mississauga player, but I've never heard of you before.
Hmm.
So it's like, hey, let's just meet at the arcade. It's just somebody he just used his alternate account. I don't know why people had alternate accounts back in SRK back.
Do you remember who that person was, or
His name
do you?
is yeah. I can say his name is Dadesi Canadian, real name Anand Pai, and his alternate name was Jeebus, J E and like three E's bus
Hmm.
exclamation mark. Reference to
Hmm.
The Simpsons where Homer Simpson becomes a Christian missionary in the South Pacific. I don't even believe in Jeebus. Save me,
Save
Jeebus.
me, Jeebus.
Yeah. So we met at the arcade there,
Uh-huh.
and like it's just when I entered the FGC, and I'm saying this in a Mississauga standpoint, so
Hmm.
you have to just understand that because I'm not an actual Toronto resident. My city is in Mississauga is known for Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Hmm.
Two of the best players in this scene are actually some of the best in the country. And the alternate game back then to play was CVS 2. But Mississauga was basically known for like high school kids.
Hmm.
You know, it was just basically punk high school kids, punk college kids. You know what I'm talking about? Troll, play StarCraft, just play Marvel,
Hmm.
do whatever, whatever.
Hmm.
That's what I know. That's my introductory to the Mississauga FGC. I didn't start going into Toronto until like I don't know 4 months later.
Hmm.
I need
And
money,
so,
so
yeah.
I worked. I just worked. I need money. So I just worked.
So how big was that group? I know you had mentioned the player
I
that you had connected with, but
I
how
would
big was that
say
group?
like because it's like it's I okay now okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. It's
It's all
just
right.
I'm just no, it's just my train of thought. I viewed the Mississauga scene and the Toronto scene also at the time as an analogy of SmackDown versus Raw. You
Hmm.
understand? You have your
Hmm.
rivalries. All everything's in Toronto, so it's like the enemy is always Scarborough. You want to always beat them. The enemy is Saga. Fuck Saga. You want to beat them in their games.
Hmm.
I also viewed the as somewhat of a like another high school, but like think of every game as a subject: physics,
Hmm.
chemistry, biology, physical education. dramatic arts, visual arts, math, whatever. Think of everything as like a high school, and like, okay, each game is their own identity at the same time. So it's very rare that you play actually it's somewhat common where you actually play 2 games at the time. Because when I started going to the arcade for the first time, we had 16 cabinets. 18 cabinets, and we had 3 third strikes. We had like one or two of every game, and then like a bunch of side games.
And you're talking about Masaga, right?
No, we're talking in Toronto.
Oh, in Toronto.
Where all the
okay.
where all the competition is. You have to travel to Toronto where all the competition is.
And what was the arcade?
Pacific. At the time? It's called Orbit Entertainment Center. It was in Pacific Mall. So the one thing about this arcade is, and this is the one thing I had to learn at the time, is that you have to play an arcade stick, because I'm coming from Xbox pad. Now I come from a region, a little area, just like everywhere else, where we play on hapsticks, from downtown Toronto to wherever. All the competition and all the the hub of all the activities are in uptown Toronto, meaning Japanese cabinets.
So the cabs in orbit were Japanese.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes. The cabs in orbit were all Japanese, so it's like the Japanese experience in your home scene, you know. But I have to adapt from Xbox pad to American stick to Japanese stick, because you're aware it's like that's just the way it is in the scene. You have to play on the standards. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
So by the time you start going to orbit in Toronto, around 2000, late 2004, 2005, is that around
early 2005? Early 2005.
So by that time, Toronto Third Strike players have already made quite a name for themselves. I mean, a few episodes ago.
Really? Please,
at least from America. Well, at least from America,
me.
Like American Third Strike players, we kind of knew, wow, Toronto is kind of the hub of Third Strike over in Canada, right? Like that was already known, and a lot of it has to do with a guest that I had in a previous show, right, which was C-Royd.
And his name is C-Royd. Yeah, right? He knows I'm on. He knows. I'm gonna give him a shout. I'm gonna give him shout outs.
Yes. Well, C-Royd deserves all the flowers, and so C-Royd. I had C-Royd on a podcast not too long ago, and it's interesting because he was talking about how even before you even got into the FGC, Brett, he would do when he was describing how he would travel back in the day. Those are the dark ages of the FGC, and he was still traveling and stuff like that.
Really?
So by the time you get to orbit, at least as far as American Third Strike players go, I mean, we knew that Toronto was kind of the Canadian hub for Third Strike, but I want to I want to hear what it was like from your perspective, right? You're coming from a suburban outside of Toronto. You go to this arcade for you start going to this arcade for the first time, where all the really tough competition is. When did you start did you already know beforehand that wow, they have a lot of strong Third Strike players in Toronto, or is that something that you kind of discovered when you got there?
I discovered there. I discovered that. Because it's one of those things where it's like I'm new in the scene, so I'm trying to learn trying to learn every game, and it's like for some reason for Third Strike it's like this is special. For some reason this is something special. Yeah, which is crazy, because it's like you hear the stories when but damn, I keep stuttering. I'm sorry.
It's all right, man. It's good.
Okay, so apparently the story is in 2004 in our home major. Mike Watson showed up here.
Okay, tell us the story, because I have no idea. I am not aware of the story at all. So
you didn't know? You didn't know?
I don't know the story at all. So
the story is that he showed up. He won AE Anniversary Edition. He won Alpha 3, but I think he got 4th and 3rd Strike. So it's if a top American player who would eventually within I think a month later get top 8 at Evo, because Evo was August and I think we were July. I think something.
Well, what event was this, first of all?
It's called T5.
So it was T5.
T5.
Okay,
T5.
now I remember. Yes, Watson did go to T5.
I was not in the scene. I was not in the scene
Yeah.
at that time. I don't exist at that time. So I know. I heard it's like, yo, this top player showed up here, and he busted people's heads open in games, and he placed fourth and third strike. So it's like our top three guys are, Toronto people. So it's like something is special here. You kind of see that. It's like you're in the middle of something. You're seeing something special.
Do you remember
this
who? I mean, I guess I should look it up. But do you remember who the top three was?
Someone named Nek Neb, a Urian and an Elena player. He got first. I think he got first. I don't know. I did post the results on a very long time ago on a Karopi's website, so I can't see that now because keyboard.
Yeah, man. I want to take a look at that. T5, right?
Please,
T5.
T5.
Strike results.
No. You have to go to archive.org, then go to Karopi's site.
Okay. So archive.org and
Karopi.com.
And I just type it in the thing, right?
Yeah, and then .com, and then tournament results. Yeah, I archived all the tournament results too, just to archive historic results too.
Is Karopi with two P's?
Yeah. Karopi's the same guy who runs ST Revival.
Yeah. Just trying to remember how to spell it.
Shoutouts to that guy. Shoutouts to
shoutouts Karopi. I mean, wasn't he the guy who basically started Tournament of Legends?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh man.
So when you started going to Orbit. Oh, go ahead, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, when I started going to Orbit, you got to understand that I live in the furthest area of Mississauga. So that means I got to do the Psycho route. That means I got to take at least 4 transfers within 2
How long was the trip from your house?
3 hours, sometimes 3.5, depending on traffic and construction. I did that every 2 to 3 weeks or every tournament month. So like it's crazy to fucking do that route. It's crazy, and I don't drive, and I don't have a driver's license, so I have to commute no matter what. So imagine doing that for like 2+ years.
So you start going to Orbit. You start, that, and that's where you start kind of, realizing, wow, there's a lot of, there's some third strike talent here in Toronto. Were there any? I mean, obviously we talked a lot about C-Royd, but were there any other players that kind of stood out in your mind, or when you started going, people that third strike players that people were talking about? Because you know how in arcade, right? People talk about other players and stuff like that.
Well, I viewed it as like a pool of killers. Anyone can win. Anyone can win a monthly, and you just don't know. There were a lot of players I did recognize and got to meet throughout the times, such as C-Royd and Aneurysm X. Those were the first 2 third strike, representatives, if you want to call it, that I actually got to meet within time.
Now, do you know Aneurysm X's famous 12 dance? I mean, I don't know. I heard about it. I heard about it because I heard it on Marvin's appearance, but it's like I can't even do it. I don't even know what it looks like. But you know what I'm talking about. Oh, you only heard it.
I never saw it. I know what you're talking about because I just tried to do it or whatever. I don't know. I just to get it in my head. I know. Wait. Yeah. There's other people I know, like Adam B. Ken.
Adam B.
Okay. Aneurysm X Dudley. JS Master Chun-Li, Dixon Yun.
Now was JS Master wasn't really a third strike main, was he?
He was everything. He was everything, basically, right? He was everything.
Yeah.
He did rise up from my understanding is that he started learning the game in 2004, and when Canada went to ECC, he got top 16. So he learned the game within like months.
Yeah.
From my understanding, because he was CVS 2 in Marvel.
Yeah. So JS Master Chun,
Chris Choi, Ibuki Akuma, Eric Hai Ken, Ak Urian, RX 50 Cent Urian. Damn, it's like so many names, so many names. but
And
it
so what
it
was
was
it?
like you had killers. You just had killers. Like you
Mm-hmm.
knew that they were like international level talent that's hidden, and like they don't get as much exposure because we're not Americans. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But to speak on that more, I mean, can you like walk us through like a typical monthly at Orbit, right? Like just like what's the environment like? Like how is there a lot like roughly how many people attended these tournaments? Like, what would you say
Oh,
when you started
okay.
going?
So I would say on a given average.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is my point of view. I would say for third strike you got about 40 to 50.
Mm-hmm.
CVS 2 you got 20 to 30, and Marvel you get 15 to 20. So
Wait,
already
hold
right.
up, hold up, hold up.
So
Wait. Just so I heard you right. You guys
mhm.
used to get between 40 and 50 players for Third Strike every month?
For, based on the time frame of the arc in the
Mm-hmm.
2 years that I've been going to the arcades, yes, at that time.
Wow.
Sometimes let's say 30 to 50, 30 to 50 to be safe.
Wow, that's still a lot.
30 to 50. Really?
I mean,
That is
compared
for a,
to compared to now.
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
compared to now.
unless it's a really big tournament, but we're talking about monthly. Wow.
Because as I said previously, we had three third strike cabinets.
Uh huh.
So, and most of the other games like Marvel 2 or Guilty Gear, you only had one. CVS
Yeah.
2 had two. Anniversary Edition had one. So, if you're going to have, let's say, me, a person that's going to play AE and whatever games, what am I going to do when I lose and I got to wait 2 hours? I might as well play Third Strike.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not surprising to know that if a person who mains Marvel 2 or Guilty Gear in Toronto, what are they going to do within an hour's time for their next match? You might as well enter Third Strike. That's
Mm-hmm.
fine. That's where all the competition is popping. You might as well get a piece of the action.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck not? So aside from regulars, you do have, the regulars of other games playing Third Strike. That's not a surprise to see a good Marvel player versus a good Guilty Gear player in a Third Strike tournament match.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, but
No.
that's a cool thing to see. That is a very cool thing to see, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, indulge me in a little cooler talk. So,
But,
in when in that frame where you were starting to go to the arcade to Orbit in Toronto, who
yeah.
was considered at the time hands down the best Canadian Third Strike player at the time?
I can't. Ooh, that I can't answer that. That's a question.
Was there someone that was considered that, or were all the players just so kind of evenly matched and they were all, like you said, all killers, where there wasn't
Yes.
really a clear cut person?
Yeah. It was. Yeah. There was. To me, really wasn't a clear person.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. To me, that's in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you had said that it was all Japanese cabs, right?
Yes.
And so, how was that? I know you had said that you used to play on pad on Xbox.
Hmm.
How long roughly did it take for you to just kind of get accustomed to it, or was this something that still kind of you struggled with even after you stopped going to the arcades?
I'd say an early struggle, but I'd say give me about 2 months. Give me
Mm-hmm.
about 2 months. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a pretty easy transitional process to go from pad to American stick to Japanese stick.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Hmm.
And one of the things that you had mentioned, and it's really cool that the thing that you pointed out is how in the arcade days you would run tournaments for multiple games. You were at the arcade, so you played a game. If you lost
I
or
didn't
if you won
stop.
your match while you're waiting,
Yeah,
of course you're gonna play some other game. Like
yeah.
that's one of the unique things, right, about the arcade scene.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, because it's like there's I'm not to say that there aren't players anymore in the modern FGC that excel in multiple games,
Yeah,
but it's
that's
not
hard to
like it
do.
was back in the day, right?
No, it was hard to do. It was just hard. It's basically putting whatever basics and fundamentals into another game,
Mm-hmm.
along with the application of the subsystems. You got to learn how to
Mm-hmm.
parry. You got to learn how to do whatever. tech throw, dashing, things that you do in other games that you couldn't do in Third Strike. You got you know what I'm talking about.
One more question I wanted to ask before we take our first break. Like you said, clearly Third Strike was very popular at the time
Yeah,
that
it
you started
was.
going to the
It
arcade.
was. Yeah.
Was there do you have any like stories or memories about your time
Now
hanging out at Orbit, or whether it's any game? It doesn't have to be
I
Third
was
Strike or
there.
any game.
I was there. I was there. Third Strike when Jeff Ack defeated Ricky Ortiz and Justin Wong in our home major, and I was only 7 months in the scene.
Wow.
So it's basically your home major. This is Justin Empire Arcadia's first appearance in Canada. So Justin Wong, Ricky Ortiz, Sanford Kelly, Arturo Sanchez, Geron, Executioner, and it was like a crazy thing to know, like how the best two players in America can lose in Canadian soil in Japanese settings. It's like you witnessed something special, as I said before, and seeing and Jeff didn't even win that major. Jeff Ack didn't even win T6, so that's even crazier too.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and so we're gonna go ahead and take our first break. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about your. I think it's a pretty famous YouTube channel, at least among old school, members of the FGC.
Yeah.
But we're gonna talk a little bit about YouTube.com/PsychoRarity, and so for those of you who are in the chat, definitely check it out. It's tons of footage, but we're gonna talk more about that after the break. And so don't go anywhere, everyone. Back with more Mutant XPerience podcast with Psychochronic. Don't go anywhere.
Yep.
Welcome back, everyone, to more Mutant XPerience podcast, episode 49, with my special guest, straight from Canada, Psychochronic. And so, Brett, in the last segment, we talked a lot about the name was Orbit Arcade, right? Orbit?
Yeah.
Or Orbit Entertainment? Orbit
Entertainment Center. Yeah.
When you first started being part of the FGC, when did you sort of start noticing people recording matches? Because this was something that was like sort of right away, you know? Like I remember when I first started going to the arcades, and then I would see people with camcorders or cameras in the back, and I'm like, wow, people are actually recording this stuff. Like, like did you see that a lot? At
I only saw it from our head TO at the time.
Mm-hmm. And who
Negatalock was our
was
TO.
Negatalock, right? Mm-hmm.
Negatalock, yeah, he was our head TO, and he would bring his camcorder and record whatever. The thing is, sometimes he wouldn't release some of the footage. I don't know why. I don't know why. There's a lot of tapes that he has recorded, to my
Mm-hmm.
understanding, that have not been released still.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so the reason I asked that question is because I kind of wanted to turn to your YouTube channel, Psycho Rarity, because as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, to me, one of your claims to fame is your YouTube channel, which contains just a huge plethora of different fighting game footage throughout basically the last 25-30 years. I mean, it's 25 years. I mean, you have a lot of footage that goes back.
That's a lot.
Yeah, like you have footage that goes back pretty far.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and type it in the chat. And so for those of you who are listening to the show live, definitely take the time to check out the website because there is just so much footage, not just Third Strike. I mean, there's a ton of Third Strike footage, but just like all different sorts of games. And so, Brett, tell me, how did Psycho Rarity come about? Like, where did this idea come from? Like, how did you start doing this? Just tell me.
Okay.
What's
All right. This actually happens at the same time when I became an online warrior. Remember how I said I just wanted to learn how to play games? Remember how I just said that? How I just wanted to learn how to play games? I would download videos of whatever games. It doesn't matter what it is, because I'm a sponge back then. So it doesn't matter if it was Soul Calibur 2 or Virtua Fighter 4 or Third Strike, CVS 2. I would just download anything and just burn it on DVDs. And eventually, within time, I viewed it as some type of library, because you just don't know. But within time, I'd go to like various like IRCs, FTPs, Direct Connects, various subforums of anything. It doesn't matter which country it is. It doesn't matter which fighting game it is. Sorry, Smash. But like, I just wanted to just make some type of library for it, a growing time capsule. Anything that was rare and lost, I would have it. Because normally back then, when people would download videos, they'd watch it, get whatever they wanted out of it, and then erased it. I was not that type of person. I'm not erasing it yet. I want to put
now.
it
Remember,
on a DVD.
I think for our younger viewers, we need to kind of point out this is pre-YouTube era.
Yeah, this is pre-YouTube era.
Pre-YouTube era. Okay, so
YouTube
so when you say download videos, Brett, like what do you mean by download? Because like in terms of finding these videos, because I think what's so impressive, at least to me, about your channel and the Shen's channel is that a lot of this I mean, I can't even begin to imagine just all of the effort and the work to like, okay, I mean, before you even download like a file, right? You have to know where to find it. You have to know where to look for things. Like how did you, like, was it just like you said, just kind of being a sponge, just kind of going to every website that you heard of and just,
Yeah. Whatever subforums, whatever, I'd bookmark it on. I'd bookmark it. Same thing with IRC. I'd bookmark whatever channels. Same thing with Direct Connect, because people had files. It was the FGC was pretty underground if you kind of think about it. YouTube was in its infancy, but technically, let's not count it. And even like, no one wants to watch fighting games on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Back then.
At the time.
It was everything at the time, because back then you kept your shit secret. It doesn't matter. Every region has their level of tech and whatever games, and that tech is only shared within your little group or your little scene. You know what I'm talking about? So, recording videos, I hardly ever saw anyone got recorded, because it's like they were in fear of getting downloaded. You're in fear of, oh, someone's gonna watch my video of me in grand finals at a monthly, and like he's gonna find out what I'm doing right and wrong. So some people were like that at the same time, but at the same time, it's like you're watching videos because you want to get better. You want to get exposure. So
around what year did you start
04,
amassing
04,
videos?
everything.
Okay.
04.
And so was this? I know you had said that you were it was really more of you being a sponge and wanting to learn as much about the different games as possible. But I mean, did you? I guess what I'm trying to ask is, like, you had said that you had this desire to kind of create this library, right? But it didn't start. Did it start out that way, or was it just, hey, I'm in the FGC, I'm playing all these games, I want to check out all this footage?
Yeah,
like
it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both.
And so, what did you had mentioned already before? How, like, back in the day, it wasn't always like some players weren't always too keen on having their footage being out there.
Yeah.
So, like, did you tell anyone that you were doing this, or was it just kind of on the down low?
Like... No. I never recorded anything locally.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, you're in terms of just downloading videos and just burning them.
No, I never told anyone.
You didn't tell anyone. This is just something that you.
I told few people. Like, I told few people. Eventually, within time in ST, when I started hosting ST casuals, I had like a TZW vid. I had a couple Super Battle Opera vids. I had a couple Japanese footage, and even we watched that too, just because. So in a way, I didn't keep the Psycho Rarity thing secret. It was just, I just wanted to grow a mass collection and just wanted to release it when the time was right. Yeah, because you knew that the days of downloading videos is going to end with YouTube. Now you got to understand, and thank God. Oh, you ever wondered when John Choi, how he won 2 Evos? Or you ever wondered a 10-second Sanford Kelly's Sentinel Fastfly combo? Go buy the DVD. Now you can just watch it on YouTube. Back then, that's how majors had to recoup from their costs. Is like, why not make a DVD of your top 8, be it Final Round or Texas Showdown or Evo or NEC or ECC? You know what I'm talking. So it's like footage.
Well, let's stick to that. Let's stick to that talking point, because this is something that I discussed with the Shen, and again, you can watch my podcast with the Shen on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mutant XPerience. But the Shen and I, eventually, got on the topic of, sort of, content creation, and how the Shen's kind of efforts to compile all this YouTube, footage, or all this video footage of Third Strike, and how compatible it is with sort of how content creation is treated now, as far as, protecting the rights of people's intellectual property and stuff like that. Like, what is your sort of stance on that? Or do you have any kind of opinion or anything?
I don't have an opinion on it. I'm just the guy who just made a time capsule and just wanted to release it when the time was right. I don't know. With the Shen, however, since we're talking on the Shen, does he know me?
I'm not even sure if he knows you, but I bet, like, that's definitely like now that I realize it, like, it would have been amazing to have, like, the both of you at the same time on a podcast. Right?
Because like everything I've gotten was from like FTPs or torrents or whatever. I did not want to upload anything he uploaded. That was my thing with Third Strike in relation to my channel. For respect of the Shen, I did not, because I know whatever I have, he has it already. So he beats me on that.
So I mean, obviously you can check on the channel, but I'm just gonna ask you, so around what year did you start the Psycho Rarity channel, or when did you start it?
2008. Because I knew that YouTube was gonna be big. And I knew that Street Fighter 4 was eventually going to be big in the scene. So I felt like anything that I had rare or did not make a DVD or felt like was erased from the past, I'll upload it. It didn't matter what it was. and some of the footage that I have, I didn't know how important it was. Like I apparently uploaded the first couple Cherubes and co-op cups and Kyushu battles. It's for Third Strike. It's like, yo, that's crazy. I've uploaded a lot of hidden Japanese majors for Vampire Savior, or all these hidden sessions for ST or CVS2. It's like it can be, it's a great resource to have, and it's a great historical thing to have, because it's not like, yo, Daigo, he started off Street Fighter 4. No, he's had Vampire roots and Alpha 3 roots.
Yeah.
Nuki, same thing. Tokido.
No, there are people who say Daigo started with SF4. Are they? Are there really people
like
who say
his
that?
like his career started?
Yeah, but are
like
there really people who say that though? I don't think there are.
I'll bet you some people do. I don't think. So it's like, yo, here's like, yeah, go.
Yeah. So I think YouTube. When was YouTube launched? Like 2006, I think, around 2000.
I think five. Let's say five to be safe. Yeah, 5 and 6 to be exact. Yeah. And back then they had 10 minutes. They had 10-minute limits.
Yep.
So it's like, right. If you have, so that's why I always split up my videos and always put like a number beside it, because it correlates to a playlist. So some of the times when I had the footage, it's like 13-minute video split like 9 and like whatever the remains, and just make into 2 videos. So because now you can upload like 10-hour videos, so it's like even better for me now. I can just join them all.
So, you know, obviously YouTube came along and that was going to be the platform, right? But was there any consideration of other platforms in which to host this footage, or was it just you were just waiting for YouTube, the only basically? Way. Yeah.
YouTube's the whole way. Because most of these sites, most of these videos I'm getting are directly from the arcade like website, like the website of the arcade they're hosting at. Like, let's say Atcho. Like you'll download their videos every month. There was also a news site back then called Go for Broke News, where everything was like updated weekly. So I always kept, for years, ever since whatever the news site shut down, I always got my weekly fix of videos. Yeah.
So when you launched the YouTube, like what was that process like? Can you walk us through? Because you're one of the earlier kind of, you know, content creators to create a channel.
I'm not a content creator
or an archivist. Creator? You're an archivist, excuse me.
Okay, an archiver. Okay, I just wanted to I just put everything on a playlist, and then that's it. I just upload it. Just roll the dice a few times. Okay, just upload this and this week, and just upload that next week. It didn't matter. It just didn't matter what it is, as long as it didn't like get me banned. Like if I uploaded if I uploaded Evo footage or final round footage back then, my ass would be banned from that major.
Okay.
No, that's not a joke. That is not a joke. Because you know, back then TOs
that's their revenue, right? That's
their post revenue. DVDs, VHS tapes. Yeah, VHS tapes. When I just started uploading, I knew I wanted to upload anything that was like rare or not found. And one idea was like Evo semis. You found somebody's footage from his Evo semis. It's like, this is matches that are can't be on a stream, because streams don't exist back then. So like, but they had one Evo personal recording station for DVDs, and it's similar to a stream station, but you're going to DVD, so you had other matches, off-stream matches that you know that are special. You might as well record it. You just don't know.
Definitely.
So I just uploaded like whatever. I just went nuts. Sorry if that's the only answer. It's like what went to my process.
No.
Just upload everything. So when you know it's rare shit, and you know it's like can't be found.
Psycho-rarity.
Yeah.
Right? Which is a godlike name, by the way. So like, so when you launched the channel, roughly how many hours do you know of footage do you think you had when you on day one when you launched the channel?
I don't know.
By that time, you're not really sure. Like how many
Don't remember.
discs? How many CDs or anything? Like were they all burned on
DVDs?
CDs? Yeah, DVDs or wow.
I don't remember because
Because
when
you have this really cool header on your
yes,
YouTube channel.
yeah.
Yeah, with just like spindles of C or DVDs.
It took 7 years. It took 7 years to complete that.
Wow.
But I started uploading while archiving at the same time.
Wow.
The archive technically, the archiving and the downloading of the videos and the ripping of the streams, all stop. It all stopped in 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's when you kind of stopped, you know.
Yeah, that's when I stopped. But I just uploaded whatever. I just uploaded whatever because I knew it's like I uploaded because it's like all the sites that you have bookmarked, they all become 404 pages now. Oh, website doesn't exist. Oh shit, that forum closed down. Oh shit, that arcade closed down. Well, I have their footage. I can just upload it. I can just like use Google Translate and just like that's it.
So people who have been longtime followers of my channel know that I tend to be a bit creative minded, right? Like I always have ideas for things, whether it's events or streams or shows or whatever. But I was just, as we were talking about your channel, and again, kind of, I mentioned this in the beginning of the show. There's just so much good shit on your channel, Brett. Like there's some like godlike shit.
It's a holy grail. It's a holy grail.
There's a lot of really classic footage.
Yeah, too much. Too much. That channel led me to know every sub community. Because you guys all know, from Third Strike to Vampire to CVS2, you guys know who I am because I uploaded all the lost footage and somehow you guys learned from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The videos from that you're watching from 2003, maybe there's some tech that can work in 2017. You know what I'm talking? You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So in a way, it kind of does get... You're preserving all this lost footage to help other people be better and also archiving it because you know there are top players of previous names. At the same time, it's like I'm knowing all the sub communities because you all know I'm the guy who runs that channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's so great about your channel, not to get, all existentialist.
Go.
But like you'll live on forever too. Like unless something happens to YouTube, right? But like because like even in the chat right now, like there are players that are
can't read it. I can't read it.
Well, but take my word for it, they're just marveling at your channel, and so you have new people kind of being opened up to your channel, and I think that's really awesome. But like as I was saying, like it would be really cool is if you have you ever thought about streaming at all?
I did Twitch streaming in 2012. It was just me streaming online matches. That's all. Like I had everything from Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 4, TVC, HDR, Cross Tekken, Marvel. Like from 2000, like when I moved to my second house, that's when I started doing streaming and local recording. So I did stream back then. I don't want to stream now.
Well, but I was saying like a really cool idea is what if you like hosted like a show where you would handpick different videos from your YouTube channel and then just like commentate on them or like
Oh no.
You're not. That's not your thing. That's not like.
No, that's not my thing. I'm gonna go nuts. I'll be shitting on all the. I'll be like.
You're too honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm too honest.
So before we go on our second break,
oh man,
do you have any just kind of off the top of your head recommendations for the Third Strike players out there that might be watching this podcast? Because like we said, you have tons of Third Strike footage. I mean, and some players' names that I haven't heard in years. But players that also names that have gone on to become greats in Third Strike. And so, like, are there any videos, like for example, like right off the top of my head, apparently, for those of you who are wondering, I think Psychochronic has the first Co-op Cup video.
From what I understand,
on Psycho Rarity.
Okay, so my recommendation is because I have like 350 playlists. Is that I go to what I would do is I would go to playlists and I would Control F find 3S. Just put 3S and you would see about 50 playlists there. So you have a bunch of Shurubes, you have a bunch of Kyushu battles, and you have a bunch of, and apparently I have the first co-op cup. So my thing is, and you just search the abbreviation like CVS2, ST, VS. Just search. I have a couple of Family Fun arcades from 04.
You have Third Strike footage, not just from America and Japan, but from other countries as well.
Europe, yeah. I have Europe. I have Canada.
You have some French tournaments up there.
Yeah. And then, like, okay, those are playlists. I would just say, just search 3S in the channel. Because it's just so much to go through. Like, I didn't know. No. And you're kind of getting at me because it's like, you have too much. Like, this is like almost endless. It's like, this is like, yeah, it is the biggest archive. Because other people had archives and they just gave it to, like, we traded. But the thing is, it's like, I released all of it. Like, it's too much to go through. But you view each playlist as like a book. You'll learn something out of that playlist. Be it a top name or maybe a like a 5-second tech video or some shit. But still, like, you just don't know.
So, yeah. Now that I think about it, Brett, in the spirit of Third Strike, and of course this is a Third Strike centric podcast. We're gonna mix things up a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna throw you a bit of a curveball because we just got done talking about Psycho Rarity, the YouTube channel.
Yes.
So normally Psychochronic, on every Mutant XPerience podcast, towards the end of the show, I run a segment called Pack It Up. And Pack It Up is a segment in which I scour the internet for some of the most unique examples of Third Strike gameplay. Lowlights, if you will. And normally I do this on the third segment, or normally I do this during the last segment. But since, we are talking about your channel, I figured, let's change things up a bit and let's run Pack It Up now, because Psychochronic, in honor of you being on the show, I have assembled a very special Psycho Rarity edition of Pack It Up, where all of the clips
are from my channel. Yeah,
from your channel, from Third Strike. From Third Strike, footage from yesteryear, if you will. And before we start the segment, I do want to apologize for the quality of some of the footage. Obviously, this is like 20 years, like this is 15 years old. So obviously it's not going to be the best footage. But
appreciate it.
Yeah, and so remember, before we do Pack It Up, once again, definitely check out Psycho Rarity, which is Psychochronic's YouTube channel. Again, it has FGC footage, not just of Third Strike, but just every game, basically.
Every game.
Okay, except Smash, right? You don't have any Smash.
Yeah, I don't have any Smash.
Yeah, so Bubbles, I saw you in the chat earlier. Bubbles, my bad. Bubbles is a Smash player who has recently picked up Third Strike, and so the views of Psychochronic do not necessarily reflect those of the Jazzy circuit.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to Smash.
Yeah.
All right.
So, in any event, we're going to go ahead and Pack It Up. And so, once again, this is a segment in which I pick 5 nominees, if you will. And at the end of the segment, you will get a chance to let me know who you think should win this episode's Pack It Up clip. And so, without further ado, everyone, here goes Pack It Up.
Okay, Pack It Up.
All right, here we go. Pack It Up. Shout outs to Dirtmaster, for the dope beat for the theme. Nominee number 1. This Ken player, I told myself not to forget the names, but get out of here, you ain't Daigo.
You ain't Daigo. Yeah,
I don't know on what earth. Just get out of here, Daigo. All right, so nominee number 2. Wow, that's the hardest of reads. Brett, I mean, look at the distance here. Just we're gonna right. I don't know if that's a good. It was for the round too. So horrible. Nominee number 3. This is RX actually. This is footage of RX, young RX who forgets to punish the Tatsu. Not a very good look for RX. Yeah, they just.
Nah.
So that's actually a rare footage of RX. I think RX. I think he makes his debut on Pack It Up. My bad, RX.
Okay.
Nominee number 4. This is kind of around the time where we realized how bullshit Chun was. Like, wow, you can get out of any situation. That's great. And so, yeah, Chulok.
Yeah.
And so watches this Ryu player sort of mistimes his Denjin here. And then nominee number 5. This is the most jungle example of Third Strike I've seen in a really long time, Psychochronic. So watch this Oro player just keeps fucking up, but then this Kono player just cannot get out of it. Just this segment, I can't even describe it. It's so jungle. It's like... Look at this, and then the whiff, and then he messes this combo up, and then somehow he appears on the other side.
Yeah.
And then right here, oh my goodness. Wow. Anyway, so those are your nominees for Pack It Up. Let us know what your favorite clip is. For some reason, I really like clip number 1, man. I like the Daigo one. You
Daigo, yeah. Yeah, I understand. You win some and you lose some, but you ain't Daigo. One.
I don't know why. Like when I was putting the clip together, I was almost like I almost didn't put that clip because there was another clip that I actually thought was better, but like I was this is pretty funny. But like I didn't know until I watched it with you. I didn't realize how funny it was.
It is pretty funny.
Like, I was just editing the video, and I was like, well, this is all right. But then, like, for some reason, was that Thanatos? Actually, Sneeze, I'm not really sure. But, when I upload this on YouTube, there will be links to all of the YouTube videos. And remember, they all come from Psychochronic's channel. And so, and the coolest part about your channel, too, Brett? I mean, again, maybe I'm just... I don't know. Maybe I just have low standards. But, like everything is so clearly labeled.
Yeah, everything has to be. Yeah, why not? Why not clearly label it? You always use the abbreviations. You always. Sometimes you don't even need descriptions. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead.
You did. Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and take our second and final break. But when we come back, more Mutant XPerience podcast with my special guest tonight, straight from Canada, Psychochronic. Don't go anywhere.
Several, several. I, yeah. Oh, I traveled a lot. I traveled a lot. Put it like that. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. You can link in the yeah, everything. Every photo I've ever taken in any community that I've ever been in is in that album. You can put that on the stream chat. So you want
Yeah.
to ask how I started Brett's Godlike Memories.
Because Brett's godlike memories. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and try and find the. Oh, I opened the wrong thing. Okay, let me just get
It's
the.
a think about it as a photo alternative, but it
Mhm.
documents my journey in the FGC. If you think about it, when I
Preview.
started going to events and well, home majors at the time, because when I didn't start traveling until Street Fighter 4 came out.
Hmm.
So I always had a camera at the biggest major of our scene, which is the T series. I always had a camera, and I would always, I didn't record footage. I just took pictures. Because why the fuck
Hmm.
not? You don't know. You don't know.
Hmm.
I just
Hmm.
want to have a good journey. And when I started traveling,
Hmm.
I just wanted to take pictures at every event I was because I know I just wanted the best experience possible.
Hmm.
I didn't start now, as I said, I didn't start traveling for 4.5 years. I missed out on the OG era. I
Hmm.
never went to a seasons meetings when Marvel was there. I never went to an East Coast Championships at 8 on the break. I keep
So
hearing
so
all
so
these.
what- so so you
Yeah,
started going to. So
I
when
start
did you
traveling.
start?
Yeah,
When did you start traveling to
I
majors?
started
What year?
my first outside of Toronto
Hmm.
tournament was is what I would call the rival major. Montreal is your
Hmm.
rival scene, and they always have the tournament, the Montreal annual tournament. That was the first
Hmm.
time I've ever went and traveled and competed in a tournament outside of the home boundaries, the home jurisdictions of Toronto.
Hmm. Hmm.
I just started traveling because it's like I, you didn't travel before, but you knew like with Street Fighter 4 being the boom of the scene, and
Hmm.
YouTube and stuff and streams and more players entering, why the fuck not? You might as well take advantage of uh, the Street Fighter 4 era
Hmm.
at the time.
So once again, what we have on the screen here is a Google map. It's a
Of
Brett's
every
godlike map, which is Psychochronic's. Like you said, it's kind of like a time capsule, right?
Yeah, it's like a
It's
timeline. It's like a timeline, like a
it's like
journey.
a timeline of all that sort of basically records a log of all of Psychochronic's travels. And so notice that you can actually sort through events here, right?
Uh,
Which is just amazing. It's again.
when
Mm-hmm.
when I started Brett's Godlike Memories, it's because I archived everything on Photo Bucket, everything in the
Mm-hmm.
FGC into Photo Bucket, and then
Mm-hmm.
eventually I started exploring cosplay and whatever. So I did not create that Facebook page until 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So everything I had hidden beforehand, but when I used it as a photo alternative because I know I felt like I'm gonna put Psycho Rarity on a little bit of a 1 year or a 2 year break because I'm
Mm-hmm.
already traveling anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
this is your photo alternative. I don't
Mm-hmm.
need the best camera ever. Solid Snake is my hero. Casual Candid is the objective.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to use flash. You don't need to have photography skills. It's point and shoot. And the good thing about my pictures is because I'm using pocket digital cameras, it's more the candidness adds a little bit of roughness in comparison to the esports photos you get now. This
Mm-hmm.
is just one guy just having the best experience, and like you're seeing everything from my own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I created Brett's Godlike Memories because I wanted to document everything I've ever done. And it didn't matter because games led me to all these other scenes anyway. So it's like it went beyond the FGC if you want to think about it.
Oh
In
yeah.
terms of Brett's Godlike Memories, it went beyond the FGC.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is where games led me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
crazy.
so let's just take a look at some of the entries. I mean,
Go,
if you're
go,
cool with that,
go.
man.
I'm looking at mine right now.
So we're let me go ahead and just switch scenes here, uh, so that we can get a better look at this here. All right. So again, Brett's godlike memories.
Yeah.
This is a esports rejector. Brett's
Yep.
godlike memories is a Google map that's basically charts all of Psychochronic's travels, not just FGC related Psychochronic, but you know you attend a lot of other events as well, musical events,
Yeah.
cosplay events,
Yeah.
conventions,
Mhm.
wrestling. I'm a big wrestling fan. I know you're
Indie
more of an
that's
indie guy.
yeah.
I know you're more
Yeah,
of an
more of an
indie
indie
guy.
guy.
You know, I'm more of the casual
Yeah.
smart.
Same,
casual
same, 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 same.
casual smart.
Yeah.
So let's just take a look at some of these edges. Let's look at the very first one.
Go.
July 2005, T6. Wow.
Uh,
Tell us a little bit
okay,
about this event. And you know, what do you remember
okay.
about this event?
Those picks. Okay, the
Hmm.
picks were taken from Empire's site because they
Okay.
used my picks. They used my picks a year later on their site. So it's like, why the
Okay.
fuck not? That's my first ever major. That's my
Okay.
first ever major.
That's your
I
first
was
ever
7 months
major.
in. I was 7 months in the scene, and like that's basically Empire's first appearance in Canada. And you're
Wow.
playing on Japanese sticks, and like the whole thesis of the tournament was a 5 versus 5 battle in different games. Third
Hmm.
Strike, Marvel 2, CVS 2, Tekken 5.1,
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, 5.1.
Look at these photos.
Yeah, so that was my first major. And it's like you knew you saw something special because all these
Oh,
top
young
players
art.
that are like
Young art.
America, that's like almost America's like best players. They're showing up to your training grounds, to your arcade, and it,
Is
it,
that
it was a very
Nagadalok right here?
yeah. Hmm.
Look at that paper bracket in the back. Wow.
Yep, it was like 6 feet. Oh, if you lost first round in CVS 2 like I did, wait 3 hours for your next match.
Oh, we
Ooh,
got young art
no
playing
pools,
Third
no.
Strike with the
Yep,
Triforce hand on the
Triforce
shoulder.
Power Glove.
This
Yep,
this might be one of the most godlike FGC photos
Yep.
I've ever seen.
Is that T6? Is that T6?
That yeah, it's well. Let's
Okay,
see.
okay. Those
Yeah, it's
pictures are from
T6. Yeah,
EMPs.
yeah.
Those are EMP pictures
Wow,
because they
wow.
took mine. There's only
Okay,
2 albums that are not mine.
okay.
There's only 2 albums that are not. That's one of them. But that's my
Wow,
first ever major. Just
dude,
because.
that's a godlike. That's a godlike for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. That is. That's crazy.
Wow, awesome, awesome. Let's take a look at
Everyone.
uh
Now I was gonna say some highlights of that tournament if you want.
Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead, man.
All right. So you know how I said there was a 5 versus 5? We all
Hmm.
predicted that Empire would beat us 25-0 in Marvel.
Hmm.
We were so like some of us it went beyond our heads. It's like, do you think they're gonna beat us 25-0 in Marvel? That's just not gonna fucking happen.
Hmm.
It ended up being 13-12,
Hmm.
which was pretty close.
So mhm.
CVS2 was fun. Third Strike was just Empire got killed. Put it like that. Empire got killed. I think it was like 18-6 or some shit. I
Yeah.
forget.
Uh-huh.
I forget.
So I'm
Go
just
on. Yeah. Go on.
looking at some of these other
Yeah. Go.
again.
Go. Go.
There's just so many.
I'm kind of
There's
all
so
over
many.
the place. I'm kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
What are you looking at next?
let's look at the last let's look at T9.
9?
Yeah.
T9 is our final tournament in the OG era.
Hmm.
Final tournament in the OG era. There's not
Yeah.
many. There's not many.
Yeah.
So this is before Street Fighter 4.
Okay. Yeah. So the
Justin
turnout.
Wong
How was
was
the
there.
turnout for this event?
55 for third strike.
Mm-hmm.
You can run a 30-man CVS2 bracket in 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That was good.
There you go.
It
That
was,
PS2 third
yeah.
strike.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. PS2.
It was the rematch between Chai Rithi and Justin Wong.
Mm-hmm.
When Chai Rithi beat Justin Wong at the previous NEC. So this is the run back out of it.
Oh.
I ran ST. I got third
Mm-hmm.
at T9. I lost to Justin Wong and our top Chun-Li player in WB.
Mm-hmm. All right.
6.
So, Evo 2009 was your first evolution?
Yes, it was my first ever United States major tournament.
Okay.
I felt like I was going to like a cathedral at the time. It's like, yo, this is what you dreamed of. You finally got to go to Evo. All the years that you never got to travel before, this is your first American tournament. It was a fun experience. I did record some SF4 and ST HD. Evo 2010 was even better. Like that I had to explain. If you want to even see those.
All right,
Evo
so tell us a little bit about Evo 2010.
Okay, so that was the major where I somehow got fifth in Tatsunoko versus Capcom on the big stage. Do you know that?
Yeah, I do.
Not many
Actually,
people knew.
the reason I know that actually is funny because there's a Third Strike player out in Cali. His name is Mothman. I don't know
Mothman?
if you're I don't know if
Mothman?
you're familiar with yeah.
So apparently I heard of that guy. He's good in TVC and Marvel 3. I heard of him.
And we actually went. He actually attended a major that I was at, Frosty Faustings. Shout outs to Mothman.
Yeah.
And I think he got second at TVC. And then, like, for some reason, I don't know why, but like I started Googling like TVC, like tournament results and shit like that, and like your name popped up, and I was like, wow, Brett really does play everything.
Yeah. Because I kept hearing the stories. I put Evo as a very important in my timeline because, like, back in the day, you hear all these stories about TOSF and MTLSF. They went to all these majors and they kicked ass and they took names and they made their presence look like an invasion. That is an OG saying. I want my presence to look like an invasion, and I'll give you some stories on that. There was a story where it was Seasons Beatings 2, and a bunch of Third Strike players from Toronto showed up, and I think 10 of them got top 16. 8 or 10 of them got top 16. So it clearly shows, like, how... have you heard of that major?
Yeah, that was
Seasons
that the
Beatings
same...
2?
Was that the same major where Andre beat Daigo?
No, that was 2009. This is 2007. So this is the year... Okay. So this is the year of the Justin Wong, Yipe, Sanford Kelly triple threat first to 7 match.
Oh, okay.
And so third strike, the top 3 was Justin Wong, Combo Fiend, JS Master. And all the others from 4 to 16, most likely a Toronto player. It doesn't matter what their skill level is, it's just here they are, they placed. And they made their presence look like an invasion.
Now,
that's one thing.
Now,
how does that... Now, why did I say that Evo was a tournament? Because I went as a seeded player from Midwest Championships. I fucking kicked ass, took names. But the thing with me is that I'm a side game warrior. I'm not good in the games that I'm in the main games. But somehow in the side games, regardless of accessibility or interest, I'm somehow good in them. And somehow I used a soft band character at the time in a subpar level and trolled my way to a top 8 finish at Evo. But it clearly shows I can play every fucking game. You can't deny that.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah. Speaking of games, man, let's talk about the last major that you and I got a chance to be a part of together.
Oh my god, Defend the North? That was a fun major. I cannot say anything bad about that major. It was one of the best weekends ever.
So first and foremost, shout outs to City of Brass, aka Andy, Team Pie, everyone in at Team Defend the North.
Do you know him as City of Brass?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, City of Brass, man.
You do,
Andy.
you do.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't.
You
You know what is it? To me, he's Kool-Aid Smile. Put it like
Kool-Aid
that.
Smile.
Yep, that's his original. And
Well,
I always shout that out. I always shout
yeah.
that out. He's Kool-Aid
Well,
Smile to me.
well, I met Andy at CF. Like I met a lot of players, and
Oh, really?
and so yeah, he was a really good Makoto player, and yeah, I mean, he's the homie from CF. But yeah, shout outs to
Oh
Andy.
man,
Obviously, he gave
got his
Jazzy
fee.
Circuit a chance.
Oh yeah,
Obviously, no one had, this was like a brand new thing. No one had heard of Jazzy before, and so
yeah.
I'll forever be indebted to Andy and Defend the
He
North
treated me well.
for giving us a chance. You know what I mean? Like just giving the Third Strike scene a chance to show just how hype the game can be.
He gave me a dream major, man. I cannot say anything wrong. He gave me
Yeah,
a
man.
dream
How did
major.
you because I know there was a lot of let's keep it real here. I know there was a lot of
Let's keep it
negative
real.
press, right? Negative press on
not for
DTN.
Me, I can't say. I can't even say
Yeah.
anything bad. I can't say anything bad about that major.
But what is your take on like how what can you explain why you found DTN so enjoyable? Because like I mean Brett, I mean I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like the weather, like the weather gods just did not want us to be in that hotel because it was so hot.
40 degrees.
It was so hot that weekend. It just was ridiculous. And it was so humid. Woo, Gotham's, you were there too. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. Right?
All right. Yeah.
And then all these machines, all these cabs, all these bodies, all these, just lights and I just don't understand like how any of us even survived in that hotel at that event because it was
crazy.
It was just a combination of just a lot of factors that were beyond anyone's control, and it just it was so rough. And so I understand why there was a lot of negative press. There was some scheduling issues. Things didn't go right on time. I mean, the finale was like 3 hours late because we had some technical difficulties.
We knew it.
Yeah.
All right, so why did I enjoy DTN?
But despite of all that, right? Yeah. Despite of all that,
why did I enjoy it?
Yes.
Why? Okay, why do I view DTN as a dream major for me? Because you have everything that I want as an OG. Mm-hmm. All the games that I play, and it's there. Mm-hmm. Now, specifically, there are 7 free games at DTN. I entered all of them with a Matcherino.
Well, okay, actually, let's talk about that, Brett. Since we're keeping it real here. So, for those of you who aren't aware, I was sort of in charge of all of the old school games at DTN, and me and Andy had decided early on, we thought that as a way to kind of draw interest, we'd make all the tournaments free entry, right? And so, so there's a lot of talk. There was a lot of talk after DTN about whether or not free entry tournaments are like a good or bad thing. There's a lot of arguments either or. Like, what is your take on free tournaments? Because there's this argument that, if it's a free tournament, people are just going to enter. They're not going to show up. They're not going to take it seriously.
That's easy.
It's not gonna...
That's very easy. That's very easy. You cap it. Because they did this at a Winter Brawl 12 where every game aside from Dragon Ball and Alpha 2 is free entry, but you have a game limit at the same time. So you cap your tournament at the max of, let's say, 64, but you cap the most amount of games you can enter at depending on the schedule. So the max you do is, let's say, realistically, let's say 4 or 5 games. That's my take. If so, that's fine if you want to run a free tournament, but I think you should cap it and limit the people that can enter as many.
Yeah, right. Like you can only enter 3 free games or something like that.
Yeah, 3 free games.
Yeah, that's definitely something I think
the max they did at when they did at Winter Ball, the max was 5. Yeah, which is perfectly fine. Everything had its own Matcherino or fixed prize, meaning regardless if, let's say, 24 people show up or 44 people show up and you win first and it's 300, you're getting that 210. You know what I'm talking? You're getting that 210.
Mm-hmm. Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. So yeah, so like again, you said it was your dream major.
It was a dream major because okay, 6 of the 7 games are free entry, so
Uh-huh,
that's fine. And you had early birds. At the
uh-huh,
same time, I Andy helped me out to a floor of a room. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Tony Majors. You had the Tony Majors arcade experience. You had all of this in Manhattan. My bus came over an hour late. Transfer bus from North Jersey,
uh-huh.
because you have to switch drivers but not buses. That driver came over an hour late, so that part of the trip I got compensation. So I
Mm-hmm.
came to the venue over an hour late. I was scheduled, and I have an hour to to get the hotel room key, take a shower, change clothes, and sign in for CBS2. Knowing full well that everything's gonna run late, this is to my advantage.
Mm-hmm.
If your tournament runs an hour late, that's fine and understandable. I used it to my advantage, so it's like good shit. You had everything I wanted, and plus it's like you have medals and exposure for your games too. Third Strike, now to be specific with Third Strike, it's special because I'm entering a last chance qualifier
Mm-hmm.
to your community circuit. You the Jazzy circuit showcasing modernized American Third Strike, and you have to qualify for that tournament. And getting 0-2, I was on Nika KO's side because he a killer. And just having have just entered, it said on the documentary it had 160 entrants, and it was Maturino, and top 16 gets the stage. I may got 0-2, but what I did to help out is I've helped bring that cabinet downstairs to the main ballroom. Yeah, I
Yes.
did. Some of y'all saw
Yes.
that. Some of you guys saw that. It doesn't matter. I may have pictures of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a great time. It was a great time. It was like watching like an American version of, well, I having have qualified for Tournament of Legends. It's like your version. It's like a community circuit.
Mm-hmm.
You have your version of a community circuit. It's like, okay, this is, you guys know how to make a circuit and somewhat of a league and have a season finale and done in a major, and all the top competition is there. That's amazing. I Yeah, that Defend the North was a great major, and Third Strike was like the cherry on top. At the same time, because like this is, it's kind of weird because it's like you guys know me, and now we finally met in person. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's, yeah, I never met. I know who you are. Your name is Five Star. I know who you are. You're Let Blood Run. I know who you are. You're Exodus. I know who you are. You're KO Fiend. Well, I'm Psychochronic, aka Psycho Rarity. I'm the guy that uploaded all that lost channel. You got nice to meet you. It's like apparently some people know me, and that's amazing. That's very amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I obviously this is all bittersweet, right, Brett? Because
yeah,
we're currently
yeah,
in a state of events where some of the memories that we've made in past majors, we may not be
yeah,
able to make
yeah.
for quite some time.
I
Um,
know.
so like, what are some of the things that you miss the most about majors, man? Like, just like it could
Majors
just
are
be
like
as
a
random as.
reunion.
Uh-huh,
FGC majors are like a reunion.
uh-huh,
Normally, when you go to a major, let's say Biggie's as an example, people file in on the Friday.
uh-huh,
As Canadians, we've always took the bus. We're there Friday morning before everything is set up. So
uh-huh,
basically, when people file in from whatever, and you recognize them, yo, what's good? Yo, I heard you're good or whatever. I heard you leveled up. Let's get some drinks sometime. Let's get some money matches. Blah 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 blah. I heard you leveled up and shit.
uh-huh,
It feels like a major. It feels like gamer reunions, and like we test our skills. Here's the battleground of competition where we test our skills. And
uh-huh,
like, oh, and then when the tournament's over, we just fucking just drink and party.
uh-huh.
Yeah, that,
Yeah,
that's what I miss about majors.
yeah,
You
man.
get to know everybody. Majors are meant to be social.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, like you alluded to before, it's not like the Jazzy circuit did it first. Obviously,
Really?
you're also well known in the
Yeah,
ST scene, right?
yeah.
You are a Chun main, and you
Mhm.
qualified for the last
I
TOL,
qualified. Yes, I did. I did.
and
That was one of the great. That's one of the best memories I have. That's one of the
mhm.
best memories I have.
So this man qualified in TOL. To me, like the competition, like we saw it just last Friday with the Macherino Cup,
Hmm.
but your scene
Yeah,
has just there is this I don't know what it is. And again,
my scene.
this is just from like an observer standpoint, right?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, like the ST scene, I mean, but like this is just from
my
the outside
STC.
looking
Right,
in.
right.
Like you guys just seem like you're such a mature scene. You know what I mean? Like it's like,
Toronto. Are you referring to Toronto ST scene
or just the North American ST scene
or
in
the North
general.
American? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. We're all laid back
Like you're all so
motherfuckers. We are laid
chill
back.
and mature, and
Yeah,
it's so, I don't know, it's really cool to see. I
yeah,
don't know. Again, that's just from an outsider's perspective. I mean, I don't
yeah.
know.
We
Maybe
just chill
there's.
motherfuckers. We play the
Mm,
game just like
mm,
every other sub community plays their game. Like we got love
yeah.
for the game.
Mm,
We work hard to get whatever exposure for the game, just like every other game. So
mm-hmm. And of course,
we
Jazzy
yeah,
drew
true.
inspiration, right,
Yeah.
from Tournament of Legends. It
Oh,
drew inspiration from the Curly circuit. It's drawn inspiration from the
yeah,
Burst
the
League.
new
I mean,
mustache.
we definitely looked at all the different leagues, and we
Oh,
obviously, the Jazzy wouldn't exist without all those other leagues, because what we did is we really took a hard look at all those different circuits, and we really sort of examine what worked, and what were the things we wanted to implement with Jazzy. And so,
yeah,
again, shout outs to just the idea of creating a league for old school games.
yeah,
I have to give credit where credit's due. I mean,
yeah.
this idea stems, I think, from an article I remember reading on SRK about circuits, like how to like keep old games alive. And I don't know
Circuit.
if it was on SRK. I don't know if it might have been on
I
another
forget
website,
too. Could be.
but it was an article in which the writer was talking about, one of the ways to keep old school games alive: start circuits for them, start leagues.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's one way to maintain life in the OG games because you have
mm,
a constant, like, let's say a ladder or ranking system or whatever, like a constant season,
mm-hmm.
and then just have it end at like whatever major, and just have it done like that.
Yeah.
How many qualifier spots have you had for
For
Jazzy
Jazzy,
Circuit?
so we have 6 auto qualifiers, but
Six
we've
auto.
only ran three of them, because of no, 4 of them
No, no,
because
for
of
last year. For last year
last year,
for
or season
2019.
1, season 1.
Yeah, for season one.
Yeah,
Season
6
one.
qualifiers, 6 auto qualifiers.
Six
So it's the
auto and
same.
everything else,
Everything else is
is last
ranking,
chance.
or everything
So
else is ranking, because you can get through either by points or auto qualify or
all right,
last chance.
all right.
Yeah.
Because when I was trying to qualify for TOL, everything
Mm-hmm.
was auto qualifier or
Mm-hmm.
last chance qualifier, or if the first qualifier couldn't show up, it goes to second or third or whatever. I was
Mm-hmm.
part of the people where when I qualified,
Mm-hmm.
Technical Monkey couldn't go.
Mm-hmm.
Technical Monkey won East Coast Throwdown, but he couldn't go because he doesn't have a passport or get a ticket to Canada Cup or register within 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Boss couldn't go because he's from not only did he use all of his Japan dates off because he's from Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and he technically qualified at SCR, but he
Mm-hmm.
can't go to Canada Cup. So technically, he goes to third place me. So that's how I
Mm-hmm.
qualified for COL, and I was one of the first of few people to go to 5 qualifiers. So that's crazy. I literally had to leave like the country like X amount of times.
Mm-hmm.
I
and,
beat
and,
yeah,
and just
yeah,
another example of our paths crossing, even when
yeah.
we
Our
don't know
path
it.
crossed.
Like
Yeah,
ECT 2018 was a really
yeah,
significant event for Jazzy, because it was one of the first it was one of the first Jazzy ranking events held at a
Oh,
major.
really? Oh,
I think it
really?
I
Damn.
think I think it that was like I think the second time a Jazzy event had been held at a major. And
Holy
so
shit.
yeah, it was in Jersey in that smaller hotel, right? And and and
Yep, I
and
was there.
and Tony brought like kind of like the just kind of like kind of like the small truck, right? He didn't bring all the cabs that he usually brings, and so it was a smaller space, but it was really intimate, right? Like it felt like really cool, really chill, that
Oh
arcade
yeah,
room.
yeah. We had our own little planet. It was our own little planet.
And
You knew
didn't you
we
get a
wouldn't
cane?
bring.
Didn't you get a
No, I
cane?
did not. Nope. No, I got 2 medals. I did not get any canes.
Weren't you
I
supposed to
got
get a
two
cane?
medals. Nope, I didn't win. I didn't win.
Oh, you didn't win. You didn't win. You
I
qualified,
didn't
right?
win.
That's right.
I
That's right.
qualified.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
You
Because
got an
Tech
old
couldn't
man.
go.
An old man cane if you won an OG game, but one of those framed records if you won a
Yes.
main game.
Yeah. Definitely.
East Coast Throwdown. That was my favorite.
Oh, my apologies, guys. Having some technical difficulties. Looks like Psychochronic got disconnected here. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick impromptu break. When we come back, more Mutant XPerience podcast.
Yo,
Okay, we are back. What's up?
did you disconnect?
Nah.
I
Okay.
disconnected for some
Oh,
reason.
okay. That's fine.
All right, now we're back. Yeah, okay.
We're
That
back.
was my
We're
favorite
good.
major of the year. That was
Yeah.
my favorite major of the year.
Yeah.
Very emotional. Very emotional.
Yeah, because again, it was one of the first Jazzy circuit events at a major, and so that was
Yeah.
another major where we kind of crossed paths there, and that turned out to be a
Yeah.
really significant major for you.
We
So like
always
we were
cross
saying, man,
paths.
yeah. So like we were saying, man, like now with COVID and stuff, obviously it's like thinking about like all the stuff that you do here in terms of archiving footage and keeping a
Yeah.
track of all of your travels and stuff. I mean, like not to get too psychoanalytical here, but like,
Go ahead.
have you
Go.
been like,
Go.
have
Go.
you been like, is there a part of you that like during these like last month, right, this past year, like, does it drive you crazy? Like just thinking like, man, like because you're someone who travels all the time, and now
Oh,
you can't.
what do
You
you
have
want
to
to
stay
know?
home. Like how are
Yeah.
you dealing with that, man? Like like how has that been for you?
Pretty up and down, actually.
Yeah.
It's just society is frozen and you
Hmm.
cannot go anywhere.
Hmm.
So, in terms of the FGC, the only thing I can do is either play online
Hmm.
or upload footage to Psycho Rarity, to
Hmm.
which I have been doing.
Hmm.
Now, have to live now during the pandemic, I was in Edmonton for 5.5 months. That's a very long stay.
Hmm.
My physical archive is not there. My physical archive is actually right here, like underneath my arcade stick. It's in a wooden box.
Hmm.
I already uploaded everything from this physical archive, so the challenge is to upload obviously rare, obscure stuff. Go to
Hmm.
Nico Nico. Go to Nico Nico. Going through a Japanese gaming YouTube like Nico Nico. That's where a lot of rare stuff is, and I kind of do have used that as a source of get
Hmm.
having to
Yeah.
upload stuff. So
Yeah,
and that
man.
and playing online, you can like going to a major is just not going to happen, or going to a weekly with people, it's not going to happen.
Hmm.
However, I've been fortunate enough to have played offline. Like it doesn't matter if the guy has to come to my house or I have to go to that other guy's house. Like so during the pandemic, all I've been doing FGC wise is either Psycho Rarity or streaming Fight K2, or when I was in Edmonton, streaming CVS2 every Tuesday morning. Yeah,
Tuesday
I'm not
morning,
joking. Every
CVS two.
Tuesday morning. I'm not joking. Like I'd literally leave my house around like 7 a.m. because it's the guy's day off. We fucking go. I have to go from southeast Edmonton to southwest Edmonton. We just record like first to fives. We'll record like six first to fives, and we'll play like anniversary edition, or we'll play Alpha 3. Like I don't have null DC, and and that's when Fightcade 1 was still the standard. So what can you do? Like, we can't go anywhere. You cannot host an event now. I don't know how X Street Battle did it, but that's Europe. But we're talking North America.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot host a major now. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Wait 2 years. Wait 2 years.
You think it's actually going to take that long?
I will take that projection.
Yeah. So you had mentioned it earlier. I mean, I guess the alternative is to play online. And you did participate in last week's
I did.
Matcherino Cup. So online. I mean, we kind of were coming almost full circle here, right? Because you had talked a little bit about how you had arcade roots, but you started out as, an online player.
I played when online was not. I played when online was not accepted. Now it is. Uh-huh. Now it is. You have online tournaments, online Pro Tour points, online qualifiers. It's just the possibilities are I wouldn't say are endless, but the thing is, you need to learn how to fix your netcode. It doesn't matter which game it is.
Uh-oh.
You're operating your netcodes, and you're doing this in games where you need split-second reaction. Mm-hmm. Netcode is a very important netcode, active player base, and a bust of robust multiplayer options is what I say is what makes an active fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the online is a mandatory in today's world. There's no way in hell you're going to release a fighting game with no online. You do need online.
Mm-hmm. Well, how well do you think the old school games have translated online? Because you are someone with arcade roots. Yeah. You have played online though.
Like, I played original Xbox Live, Kylera.
Mm-hmm. And as someone who plays multiple games,
2DF,
right?
2DF, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And as someone who plays multiple games, like are there games that you feel run better on 5K2 than other games? Like, because you're someone who plays all the games, right? Or a lot of games.
Yeah.
Like, are there games that are like, wow, it's really good, and games that are like, I don't know if it works.
ST, Alpha 2, and Vampire Savior, specifically, for some reason. Just those 3 games.
Good or bad?
Great.
Okay.
Yeah. Third Strike is hit or miss. I don't know if it's my computer because I use a shitty laptop, but Third Strike has good netcode. I think because, like, the game and the audio kind of stutter, maybe it's my computer. But I was able to get good matches and a fair amount of bad matches on Third Strike in comparison to the other 3 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, are there any games where it's just total shit? Like, it's just unplayable. You can't play on
Fightcade 2. Not well, I'd like to play WrestleMania the arcade game on Genesis, but I heard that the Genesis netcode is shit.
Is there ever anything, like, if Fightcade 2 comes out with like more than 2-player capability, like if you could play some of these 4 or 6-player games online, man, it would be over.
Oh yeah. Final Fight, Alien vs. Predator, Captain Commando, Avengers, Strider.
Sheesh. Saturday Night Slam Masters.
Yeah. You just don't know.
Yeah. So speaking of Fightcade, Brett, this is probably going to be my last podcast of the year.
Really?
We're episode 49. We're coming to the holiday season. And so I've decided that this is going to be the last podcast that I'm going to do this year. But we are still marching on to episode 50, and so obviously episode 50 is on the horizon for 2021. And right. Besides, I think it'd be nice to start a new year. Hopefully 2021 isn't like 2020, or maybe an improvement or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway,
through a lot.
Yep. But anyway, last podcast of the year, and so I thought I would bring back a segment that has become quite popular in such a short amount of time. Brett, you said that you play on Fightcade too. You go to all these events. And you have all, and obviously you have the Psycho Rarity channel. So over the years, you've probably
you said something and like it chopped off. What did you say?
I said that you were. I said that you would.
Yeah.
You play on Fightcade too.
Yeah.
You go to all these events, right? You run the Psycho Rarity channel, so you're probably familiar with lots and lots of players. I mean, like you've probably heard lots of players.
This is a community where everyone kind of knows everyone, and thanks to social media and offline events, you gotta acknowledge them. You gotta acknowledge them, even if it's for like 5 seconds. That's all. Yeah.
So, I hope you don't mind. I don't want to, I hope you'll be a good sport. I don't want to put you on the spot here, but a few episodes ago, I debuted a segment called "Fake, Real, or Fightcade," and so basically, this segment, I ask my guest, or I give my guest a username, a handle, right, a screen name, and as the guest, you have to guess whether or not the username is fake, real, as in like a real player, right?
Okay.
Or if it's a Fightcade name.
Okay.
So you had said, Brett,
you recognized everybody.
You seem to know everyone, but we're gonna put it to the test here. Okay. We're gonna put it to the test. And so, are you ready to play fake, real, or Fightcade?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and fire it up. Oh wait, that's pack it up. Sorry. I always do that. Fake, real, or Fightcade? All right. Okay. So. All right.
Fake, real, Fightcade.
It's been a while since I've run this, and so I don't even remember how many names I used to show. I think we'll go with 5. 5 is a good number, right?
5.
Go with 5. All right. So first name up. Now remember, you have to guess. Is it fake, real, or Fightcade?
Fightcade.
And no cheating in the chat, especially Telesniper. If you're watching Telesniper,
I can't see.
godlike at this game.
The chat. I can't see the chat.
So that's good. Okay. So the first name, Psychochronic. Good person, bad player. Is this a fake name, a real name, or a Fightcade name? Fightcade. Final answer.
Yeah.
Wow, Brett, you're pretty godlike. It is indeed a Fightcade name.
Okay.
Wow. And you don't have Fightcade open, do you? I don't want you to cheat in here. Okay. No. Okay. Good. Wow, this is good. We're off to a good start, Brett. So let's see. Let's get the next name here. All right.
Seem to know everybody, huh?
All right. Next name. Input dropper. Fake?
That has to be fake. That
has
to be a fake.
Or Fightcade? Fake?
I don't know. That's either a fake or a Fightcade name. That's either a fake or a fake. I don't know.
Sometimes you have to guess, man.
Sometimes I do, but I say it's a fake name.
It's a fake name?
I say that.
So, Brett, you're pretty godlike at this game.
Yeah,
it is indeed a fake name. Wow. You're 2 for 2 here.
No, I'm not.
This is good. Okay. So, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. I wanna pick a good one. Pick a really good one. Yeah. Okay. Devil upon you. Devil upon you. Take a minute. You know. What do you think?
That can be all three, actually. That's realistically all three.
Think so?
I think it's a fight. I think it's a Fightcade name. I don't know. I'm wrong, but I think it's a Fightcade name.
Wow, Fightcade name, huh? Well,
it's a real one. I guess Fightcade, but it's real.
I think you're gonna retire this game, Brett.
Yeah,
because it is indeed a Fightcade name. Wow, you are 3 for 3.
Okay.
3 for 3. Wow, amazing. Okay, you're gonna have to really scrape the well here. Okay. Next name. Campaign. Fake.
That has to be a real name. That has to be real.
Campaign.
I'm saying it's real. I think it's real.
Real.
I think it's real.
The name of a real player.
Could be. That's realistic. I'm saying it's real.
Well,
it's wrong.
Actually, Brett, you're right. It is a real name. Okay. You're pretty godlike at this game. You are top tier. You are top tier at this game. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Could be.
Wow. Okay. We gotta make the last one a good one. Okay. So let's take a look here. Okay. We got young Thor. Young Thor.
Real?
What'd you say? I just heard you kind of like yelp here.
Faker Fightcade. I think that's not a real name. Nah. I think that's not a real name. I think it's a Fightcade name.
Is it a Fightcade name?
I think so.
Final
I think that's
answer.
A Fightcade name. Yeah. I'm wrong. Good. Yep.
Oh, you were so close.
Yeah, it was so close.
So close, Brett. Right? You almost went 5-0. But you got the last one wrong.
Yeah, I did. It's okay.
Wow. Well, thank you, Brett.
It's a real player? He's a real Okay.
It's a real player.
Okay.
It's a real player. Yeah.
All right.
So, well, I guess you put your money where your mouth was, Brett. You do know everyone in the FGC. And
it's social. You know, if you have the person on social media, you might as well acknowledge the motherfucker.
Yeah.
Just say, even 5 seconds is enough. Hey, how you doing? Done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why the fuck not? You have the person on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, Twitter. Might as well just say hi to the person when you see them.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Brett, the time has come to end the show. But again, I want to. I know, right? But again, I want to thank you for being on the Mutant XPerience podcast. You know, like I've said before, your channel, you know, has definitely, you know, sort of, you know, obviously your channel along with the Shen and a lot of the early YouTube FGC channels, you know, they really did, you know, your contribution to the scene is definitely appreciated, at least, you know, for me. And so, you know, thank you so much for all the work you do, Psycho Rarity. Again, guys, youtube.com/psychorarity. Check out Brett's channel, not just Third Strike, but so much footage on that channel. And Brett, man, I'm gonna give you the last word here. I mean, is there anything else you wanted to share? It's
Not
your time,
really.
man. Not really.
Not really. I mean, what do you want me to share?
Whatever you want, man. This is your time.
I don't know. I have nothing to share. I just usually keep things secret.
Yeah.
I just usually
keep
things.
All right.
Just surprise everyone when it happens. So.
Yeah. All right, guys.
I just want all the majors to happen.
Yep.
I just want majors to happen again. So you're just reflecting on what you had back then. You're just trying to deal with this pandemic now. Yeah.
Definitely. So once again, guys, thank you again for tuning in tonight on the Mutant XPerience podcast. Episode 50 will come in 2021. But in the meantime, I'll see you guys later. Again, make sure you follow youtube.com/psychorarity. Thank you again, Brett, for being on the show. And I'll see you guys next time. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, chat. Appreciate it. Thanks for those all of you who tuned in live. Man, like there's some like stuff on your channel. It's just like ridiculous. Like
I know.
Wow. Like
I gotta start uploading more stuff.
Like you have like Australian Third Strike?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, wow.
Yeah, I do. So much. Trailers. I had tournament trailers.
Yeah.
Game build.